Another question that came up from Deb and Kev was talking just about the tools. If you want to share a little bit about what are some things that kind of help you, in the business, but also help really succeed in the business? What are some from the tool side?
Well, one of the things that you have to do initially is, of course, we use Excel, of course, right?
Yeah.
But is, you've got to look at it on an Excel sheet or somewhere where you can say, okay, if I acquire this loan for $80,000, how many months do I have to sell to recoup $80,000? So you've got to look at the loan itself. How long is it will it pay out? And then how much do you need to sell to recoup your investment? And so make sure the numbers work, right? And then, the other thing is just, having a process to that to where, at the end, when the loan reverts back to you, well, how many months am I going to collect? And how is that going to pay out? So, how many years will it pay out? Like, when does it revert back? So just kind of keeping track of those type of things. So you can see the big picture and know, well, there's going to be some loans that just won't work, right? You really can't acquire it and sell the partial and make it work because you have to sell almost the whole loan. So that doesn't work. The other thing that is a really good tool with passive investors is, so if you have a loan and it appraises for significantly more than what it's sold for, that brings their investment to value way down, right? It brings my loan to value down. And then for the passive investor, it brings their investment to value down. And so, if they have to lower the investment to value, well, that gives them a big cushion between what they're investing and what the property is worth. So if they're investing 50,000, but the property's worth 150, for example, well, that gives them a big cushion. So it makes them feel really comfortable about, investing their money in that particular asset.
Yeah. And I think that one of the beautiful parts about the Excel spreadsheet is that it's so malleable, right? Like you're just plugging and playing, you're coming up with numbers that work for you, but does this also work for my investors? Okay, we need to change it around, and not get bogged down to where you're looking for, I need a software that does this for me. So much of this is just using the creativity that you've been taught to say, all right, this is what I need to make this note work. How can I use this spreadsheet to make the numbers also work for my investors, right? You've got to be able to justify the whole picture. Kind of like Martha said, you've got to make sure this is a win-win. And when you do, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. And so like with my passive investors, when we start out, I'll do like an executive summary for them that, just to kind of lay it out a little easier for them. But then as we go down the road, I can copy what I need, the information I need them to see on a spread and put it onto a spreadsheet and send them a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
But it's just the educational part up front,
Right.
And just so this isn't all a mystery, people say, what is Note School? Note School teaches all of those things that Martha just mentioned. Like what does an executive summary look like? How much information is on it? What is this magic Excel spreadsheet they're talking about? Is this hard to use? I mean, like, of course, we've learned that if you can show people these steps, it kind of gets the fog away, removes the mystery, and it's down to it. But it's funny, like I can't tell you how much money in partials Martha has sold with having a trusted relationship with a passive investor and literally just sending them a poop sheet, right? A little information sheet, whatever you call it, right?
Yeah.
It's an executive summary that just has literally, you could look at the whole thing, Brian, in 4 minutes, the whole thing in 4 minutes. And you're like, okay, I know enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And when you're raising money, that's what you got to start with. You can't just say, hey, I got a note. It'll get you 6%. You interested? Right. You got to give them a little something else to make it happen.